nutrition expert. So, Lerato, what are probiotics and why are they so important for our health?
So if we go one step back, in our gut and our large intestines, we have good bacteria. We also, as females, have them in our vaginal canals as well. So that good bacteria in our gut is responsible for a whole lot of things. Firstly, like it assists in digestion. There's a secondary phase of digestion after the stomach and everything that happens. So if there's leftover food that hasn't been absorbed, that bacteria just helps to break that down so that it can passage and allow your stool to passage through. It also helps with immunity as well. So they produce those little cells, the good bacteria, when they're in good numbers, they help as another line of defense against other bacteria that enter your body and your system as well. So that's what they do as well. And then they're also being linked, but there's still very limited evidence with this, to what is called a gut-brain axis. So this is a link between your gut and your brain that helps to then also regulate mood and your overall behavior as well. So that's the good bacteria that we have in our stomach. In the vaginal canal as well, it also obviously then helps as a first line of defense to say whatever is entering the vaginal canal then doesn't cause infection, etc. So that is your microbe and your good bacteria in your stomach. So what probiotics are is pretty much the bacteria that has been put in pill in a capsule form that is then ingested, and when you're ingesting it, you're helping to replace the good bacteria in your gut for whatever reason. The biggest reason we mostly use the probiotics for is when we have antibiotic use. So a lot of medication and treatments of medication, they destroy the good and the bad bacteria whenever you're taking antibiotics. So that's when we started using probiotics, which then replace that good bacteria when it's being destroyed by medication. But then obviously if anybody has a deficiency of that good bacteria, we also then use the probiotics to then help them replenish their stores. Yeah.
So is food, actually that's, I'm thinking carefully about how I put this. It's not always fermented, right? Like probiotics could be, like fermented soft porridge and things like that.
Yeah. So
it's not everything that is fermented, especially when it comes to food.
Yes. So the natural sources of probiotics are from fermented foods. So
all of the foods.
Or any food that has been fermented will have probiotics. The exception is alcohol, because what happens with the process of producing the alcohol is that bacteria in the beginning phases then gets destroyed when the alcohol then starts getting produced. So yes, alcohol is a fermentation process, but the minute the alcohol starts being produced, the bacteria start dying. In the beginning, it starts with a fermentation. That first 2-3 days of that fermentation process in making alcohol, that is got probiotics. But after that, then it no longer has it. But any other product that is fermented then is also a good source of probiotics. So some of the examples in South Africa that we eat is nkomazi or mas. It is your maheo. Maheo is also fermented. A lot of people make their own fermented porridges, like at home, where you ferment a bit of porridge and make ting, or you make your own maheo. We also have it in yogurt. So the yogurt is also a very, very good source of probiotics, and you can get the probiotics. The only thing is that when you add sugar, so it makes the probiotics already start working on digesting the sugar in your yogurt or whatever. So it reduces the strength of, for lack of a better word, of that fermented products. So what we tend to say for people who are needing it is try to avoid your yogurts or your porridge adding sugar to them, because you kind of like defeat the objective when you do that. But those are natural sources of probiotics.
Okay. And then how often should we take? Is this something that I can do every day or daily and it's fine? It's not going to make my body immune to probiotics?
No. So it's an important component of your gut. You have to. And most people, so some of the signs that you might be having low gut health and low probiotic health is that you get recurrent vaginal infections or thrush. So your thrush, whether it's in your mouth or whether it's downstairs, that's a sign that your gut bacteria is out of balance. You struggle with a lot of constipation, diarrhea, or bloating. So the typical IBS symptoms. So you fluctuate between constipation, diarrhea, and bloating. That is a sign that you probably have low gut bacteria. If you're struggling with like a lot of topical, which is like skin-based infections, that is also sometimes a sign that your gut health might not be at its best as well. So, and then obviously if you're then taking any medication, and a lot of medication like interfere with your gut bacteria. Also, people who are diabetic and insulin resistant, they have been known to have lower gut bacteria because of the amount of sugar that is constantly circulating in their body. It then destroys a lot of their good bacteria in their bodies as well. So those people also tend to have low gut bacteria. But as I'm saying, it is one of those things that are, we call them superfoods. We should be at very least having one portion of foods that contain probiotics in them once a day to make sure that we're constantly replenishing our stores that we should have. So everybody, every day, you cannot have too much of it. You cannot, it will never overgrow because it's the good bacteria. More is better in this regard when we speak of that bacteria. So yeah, I recommend that you have at least one serving of your fermented foods once a day and try to limit the sugar. And then if you are one of the people that I have mentioned, it might be of benefit to actually also take a supplement and take the supplements as well. The other thing that I wanted to mention as well is that in terms of probiotics, we have what is called prebiotics. So prebiotics is the food that feeds your bacteria to allow your bacteria to grow itself. So prebiotics are then classified as your fiber and fiber-containing foods. A lot of your fruits and vegetables, those are the foods that if you eat those, then your own bacteria will replicate and become more itself. Anything that has fiber, you eat more brown bread, brown rice, brown everything. We have less sugar as well, and we limit the what we call pro-inflammatory foods, and then you eat as much raw as well, raw fruits and vegetables as you can. That will feed your bacteria and allow it to grow themselves.
All right. Thank you so much for having a conversation with us this morning regarding the importance of our health and the use of probiotics. This is really much needed information because I think we don't think about it that way, you know. So thank you so much for enlightening us, Lerato.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. That was Lerato Radebe, who is a clinical dietitian and nutrition expert. It is now 10:43. I'm going to take a quick break. On the other side of that, we're getting into Africa Burn conversation.
The sound of Africa is evolving. Experience our